Okay.
And then after that we'll do like stand up here.
No worries.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Manuka Field Presents SBW versus Gallen, July 16, Qudos Arena, live on Sky Arena and also Sky Sport. Now a reminder that Manuka Fuel is an exciting and very cool energy drink, naturally sourced, no synthetics, and it will fuel your minds. That's Manuka Fuel Energy Drink. It's going off right now in a very tight marketplace. So thank you all for being here at the Foundry Chop Milnes. Jim been here a little bit myself, not that it shows, but Choppy does a great job with the local community here at the Foundry. So we'll just run through a couple of things first of all. We are going to do one-on-ones. I've already briefed you already. 5 minutes for one-on-ones. If you don't want that, that's fine. Joseph Parker is also in the house, and JP's quite happy to talk about his 6th child, clubs, which we're pretty happy about, and anything else that you want to talk to him about, including, of course, the Sonny Bill Gallen fight as well. I'd like to welcome, of course, Coda Nasser, who is the manager of Sonny Bill Williams, and right now the CEO of Duco, Mr. David Higgins. David, it's all yours, buddy.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming along today. Just a couple of quick introductory words. So we're here to discuss Manuka Fuel, Sonny Bill Williams versus Paul Gallen. We've been promoting boxing in this part of the world for more than a decade now, and I think this will be one of the biggest boxing events this year in New Zealand, Australia, if not number one. And there's a few magic ingredients at play. First of all, you've got two proper household names, legends, people who've been at the very top of the highest level of sport and incredibly competitive athletes that almost everyone in New Zealand and Australia knows who these guys are. Second magic ingredient is you've got history. This fight's been brewing probably for 10 years with call-outs and negotiations that fall apart and on again, off again, on again. I experienced that myself with the David Shane Cameron fight. Our first boxing event had that ingredient. Pacquiao Mayweather, it just makes things bigger when it brews for so long. Third, it's a proper 50-50 fight. Most pundits can't pick who they think will win. There's a really good argument why Sonny Bill will win this fight. He's got height, he's reach, he's a good boxer. In another life, he could have been a top boxer with that skill set. But then you've got Paul Gallen, who never quits, rough and tumble. So flip a coin. And I think that gets people intrigued as well. And then there's parochialism. You've got a New Zealand versus Australia ingredient. You've got rugby union, rugby league. So there's quite a lot going on with this promotion. And as it reaches its crescendo, I think everyone's going to be talking about it and is going to tune in. And then finally, I'd just like to thank Manuka Fuel again for the sponsorship. New Zealand viewers will be able to tune in and watch the fight on Sky Television pay-per-view. So thank you.
All right, David, I'll ask Sonny Bill. We'll get straight into it. If you're okay with that, you cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Sonny Bill, come on in. So, folks, welcome in Sonny Bill Williams. former New Zealand heavyweight champion, NRL champion, World Cup champion. Sonny Bill, welcome back to New Zealand. It's good to see you. You're looking great, Nick. How's training going?
Yeah, it's great. Firstly, thanks for everyone turning up. Good to see my also at the back. We've got boxing royalty here. Just about that. Also, Manuka, Honey, thank you for being a major sponsor of this event. I'm excited. It's been a tough 4 weeks, man. I miss my kids. I'm training in Gold Coast. I'm in the Dry Waters camp. After last fight in the things that I knew I needed to work on, that's the reason why we're up in Gold Coast training. So away from the kids, not just training physically and skill-wise, but trying to train the mental side of things as well. Being in that ring is kill it, we kill it.
Being in the Opportunities camp, how much is that improving you as a boxer? It's been a while, 2022, your last fight, so relearning?
Yes, I think that was one of the main reasons why I went up there just 2 years ago, I think it was 4 years ago when I had the Barry Hall fight. I was lucky enough to go into camp with Joseph Parker and Andy Lee and Tyson Fury. And training alongside these guys, I'm a real visual learner. Although I've had 10 fights, it's been over the space of 15 years. So every time I get back in the ring, it's like doing it again. Starting all over again. So this camp, I wanted to be around world-class fighters. So I could learn, I guess, the skill set needed, but also, like I said, the mental side of things as well.
David mentioned, of course, your height and reach advantage against Gallen. How nervous are you of letting him inside? How much training are you doing to keep him out?
I think, obviously, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that he wants to fight in close and I want to fight at distance. But at the same time, we're training accordingly. You won't have to go looking for me in the ring this fight.
2-minute rounds, there's been a little bit of controversy. You wanted 2-minute rounds. Can you give us a reason why?
Look, firstly, I'm going to state that I don't know anyone anything. So 3 years ago, when we tried to make this fight happen, after the Markhan fight, I said, I'm a realist. This probably isn't for me anymore. I must make this fight happen. We got to the final hurdle, and then he said he wanted a bigger piece of the pie. That's why then the eventual. So for the last 3 years, for me, boxing was done and dusted. I was at home with the kids, training for life, training for the kids. Then I start getting a couple of phone calls around what he's been up to, what he's doing, what's been in the system, what hasn't been in it, or what's been in and out of the system potentially. Then a couple of weeks later, I get a phone call from my manager saying he wants to fight. He's going to call you. He wants to fight 50-50. So for myself, the first thing I said was, give me 24 hours, because if I'm going to be in it, I'm going to be all in it. So then I had two things that needed to be met: 2-minute rounds, and they need to be drug tested. 2-minute rounds are there, but there's been no drug testing. So he's come out and still said he'll do drug testing, but there's been nothing. Usually before you go into a big event, you have to, Asada will email you or someone will email you saying, we need your whereabouts. Hasn't happened. I haven't been drug tested. So
are you saying part of the fight conditions?
That was part of my conditions. But obviously we're here now. For me, I call it the equalizer for 2 minutes.
So are you suggesting, I think the phrase you used in the media somewhere, using sports enhancers, do you think that's what's going on?
There could be. I don't want to get myself into trouble. The facts are what I stated. The press conference, I stated facts. He has been caught using performance enhancing drugs. He has been. And he does charge. He has been charging his mates to come around his house for a barbecue. There's some facts. I don't think you like that. But the reality is, for me, for my own peace of mind, that's all it is. When it comes to 3 minutes, I've never had a problem with fighting 3 minutes. I think it was my 4th or 5th fight. I fought before Francis Botha 10 rounds, 3 minutes after 3 weeks prep. But for me to get off my couch and stop training for life and start training for a fight, which is a whole different ballgame, these were the conditions that need to be met.
All right, let's talk about things that have been said. He says you've been wasting his time. You've come back and said, well, you're an annoying mosquito. Yeah, I'm going to smash you.
You listen to the interview this morning.
Do you genuinely believe you can stop him or beat him?
I'm planning, I'm prepping to stop it, but I'm prepping to go 8 rounds as well. You know, when it comes to trash talking, it's not my go-to. You know, you don't get involved in that kind of game. I never have in any of my fights. But with Paul, it's second-hand nature. This comes from, this flows off the tongue, I guess. For me, when it came to the press conference, it was the kind of first time that I actually had a bit of time that I could speak at length about what's transpired. And all I did was speak the truth, speak facts. And that was, all of a sudden I've heard of upsetting with one logo, attacking this and that. It's just facts.
Well, this is the second press conference he's missed, so you must be quite happy about this, just to focus on you. And how important is that focus? Just solely on you and stop the white noise out there?
Yeah, that's why I'm up and away from my family, because I'm just solely focused about July 16th. Getting there, God willing, give them a good hiding, and then walk off to the sunset. I think at the end of the day, we're going to fight July 16th. He can say this, I can say that, but it just comes down to who's worked hard, who's taking the shortcuts, and who lands a bit of punches in the mud.
So there is actual dislike.
Yeah, I think for myself to get back in the ring after 3 years, to actually do something like this of this magnitude for myself, there needed to be that animosity, just to light that fire up. Otherwise, what's the point of doing it?
Is it a genuine animosity, or is it a fight animosity?
I think the way that he conducts himself and carries himself and how he speaks about me, I look at it like, for me, I'm representing my Polynesian brothers. You know, him calling me dumb, for example, calling me a dummy. I see it as playing alongside these type of individuals and being in the sheds with these type of individuals where they suck up all the oxygen. And because us as Polynesians, we're taught to be quiet and be respectful and don't speak unless you're spoken to. Because we don't say anything, all of a sudden, it means that we're dumb. It doesn't mean that we don't have opinions. It doesn't mean that we don't have brains. Well, we just let them speak, you know. So I think him looking at that, speaking like that, really observing the way that he's conducted himself, I really think that he thinks he's better than us. So yeah, I think that answers your question.
Now, before we get Joseph Parker up to give us his thoughts on you, you look genuinely excited about this. You look genuinely like you're ready to go. Like this means something to you.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's not a Rugby World Cup or NRL title or Super Rugby title, but I don't want to lose to him. You know, I don't want to lose to him. It's a little bit of fire.
Okay. Sorry.
You look a lot more trim than we used to see you in your football.
It's just a training mode, man. It's a training mode. When you're training alongside some of the best fighters in the world, it just naturally comes off. So we've been preparing, we've been training. He's been training hard too. So like I said before, the cool thing about the fight game is we can speak all we want. But July 16th, tell the whistle.
Are you spending any time back here or going back to
No, back to back to training.
Can I ask you a rugby question?
Yes.
Who's going to win between the Crusaders and the Blues tonight?
I think I'd like to see a Blues Chiefs fight. I'd like to see a Blues Chiefs.
Okay, folks, I'll get Joseph Parker, interim WBO heavyweight champ, JP, just to come in and give us his thoughts on this fight. So, folks, probably a small round of applause too. He's a dad he's just becoming a new dad again.
Number 6. He's got 6. I've got 5 kids.
Have you just had a 6th child?
6th child, yeah.
Klaus, little boy. So, JP, nice to see you smiling. I see you've got Tranny George here as well, so you're looking magnificent as always. Talk to us about this fight. It is a styles fight. The beauty of the beast, of course, Gallen. I mean, how do you see this one unfolding?
I was talking to David and George, and they did mention it was like a 50-50 fight. Well, I do feel also he is taking this camp very seriously, like you mentioned before. It's in the entire camp. That was the first 4 weeks, but he's trying to play hard. So I feel like Sonny's in the right camp, and he's taking this fight very seriously and doing the right things leading to the fight to work on what he needs to work on. Gallen's tough, right? And he comes down there, he's a brawler, he throws big shots, but Sonny can learn from the best, you know, he's training with Jai and his team, learn from the best and pick up what he needs to pick up on. He can come out there and dominate.
He mentioned about being an island boy, Samoan boy, and being disrespected, the way Gallen has spoken to him. How important is to hear that from Sonny? And have you been through that yourself, feeling disrespected, someone calling you out?
Yeah, of course. We've been through it, but we are quiet.
We're just going to make video clips, eh?
And then we have to make video clips, make it
Can you sing something?
Not as good as Joe. I can't dance as good as the two singers. Dance moves, right?
Sonny is right. We're very quiet and respectful, but when people go too far, then we have to come out and say something. And also, we like to do the talking in the ring. And I feel like he's been quiet. You know, he said a few things here and there, but he's just training away, building away, and when the fight time comes, that's when you go out there and take your business.
Right. Any questions for JP or Sonny, folks?
Sonny went up to Morecambe a few years ago now. What did you see? What did Tyson and George see in Sonny?
You know what, the last time I watched Sonny live was in 2012 against Clarence. That's the last time I watched him live. Big difference in what he's doing. Like him flying to England, coming to Morecambe and training with myself, talking to George, training with Tyson, David Nika. I think it shows commitment, it shows sacrifice to fly all the way there and put in the work for a fight. It shows that he wants it. You know, surrounding himself with good fighters and great fighters.
Joe, what sort of fight do you think Sonny, how do you think Sonny should fight Gallen to win?
I think, for me, he's got his own coach and he's got his own team, but for me it would be use what he has. His height, his reach, speed, and good looks.
Like yourself.
Yeah.
So you've done so much in your sporting career. Again, why, after these years, get back into professional sport and a very hard professional sport?
Every time warm up is skipping for 6 minutes, hitting the pads for a few rounds, I'll start asking myself those same questions. But to be honest, man, it's obviously there's a lot of fruits after this fight. You get paid well, but at the same time, the one thing I've missed since being since retiring is just that nervous energy, that nervous buzz. This guy's done it time and time again. When you go out and take a single swim. So it would be a nice way to finish off, to close the chapter, especially after the last disappointing outing in the box room. So those are probably the main things, and then I know to get myself up for this, to leave the household, to get into the mental state that you need to be in to be a fit to fight. There needs to be a bit on the line, a little bit of animosity, and there's definitely animosity in this one.
It's tough, being away from the family. That's the hardest part. Right? Being away from the kids, the wife, comforts of your own home, but you have to do it.
Joe's like me, he's a big teddy bear. I seen your YouTube channel. Shout out to Joe's YouTube channel, bro. It's amazing. I'm crying, before he goes away and leaves the kids, and that's how I feel. That's how I felt. But it's going to be that much sweeter after I get the job done. 4 or 5 weeks.
Joe, when you fight a brawler like Gallen, what's the best way to approach it in your experiences of boxing?
Listen, he's got, like I said before, he's got his team around him. Just stay calm. Start calm and composed. Because if you switch on the Samoan side, which we both have, then that's probably bad. In moments like that, you just have to remain calm. Remember what you've been learning, remember what you've been working on, and put it all on display. Because this is his time not to put it all on display.
We all good? Okay. I think, Sonny, you're going to do some pad work a little bit later, or is it going to do a bit of ring work later, with my understanding? Just a little bit with maybe JP. Right, let's, does anyone, one-on-ones. Now, I think the key here, because it's so busy, we'll do the one-on-ones against the wall, if that's all right with you, please. Who wants one-on-ones? Just put your hands up, we'll just get over it. Okay, just fire up.
And it's just a 5 minute each.
Just 5 minutes each, get your one-on-ones out of the way. So, Stuff, you jump in after this time.
Hey, Bonnie, grab that mic. Grab that mic.
Basically, line up